Eleca or Eleca? Eleca. I presume they're trying to make use of the word electric. Eleca. I'll say Electra. I don't know what I'm going to say when I'm doing this, but is it worth fixing? Because it's a child's Fender. Fender style guitar with one pickup, one volume control, and one bridge saddle. And it's not in the worst possible shape back and front. Can be polished up. The neck is not awfully damaged. The tuners are not terrible. That means something to somebody, which I'll look up and see if I can find anything to do with it. They're not the worst tuners in the world. They actually feel quite nice. But can it be made to be a playable little baby guitar? It's cute. There's the size of my hand, look. Admittedly, I do have a largish hand, but that's the size of a hand against it. So, and let's just put something like an ordinary paintbrush against it. You'll see how big it is. It's tiny. So let's start trying to clean this up. I think I'll start with looking at the neck and the frets to see if it's worth the hassle. But here we go. Am I mad or what? Eh? This little thing should be in the garbage. I just hate to see little... Well, there might be some use out of it. Just see, I don't want to... Oh, come on, baby. Right. Well, let me take off the rest of the things and I'll put a bit of string for that later on. I'm stripping this down because I'm going to run the buffer over it. Polish it up a bit. This is about as basic as you can get. wonder, should I keep Eleca on, or will I just take... Yeah, I'll just take the whole head off. I'll put my name on it. Austin Lennon. I'm going to look up this number to see if it tells me anything on the internet, because the internet is a font of all knowledge. That looks like maple top. That could be a maple neck. Anyway, okay, I'll come back to you. Am I mad? Or what? What am I doing with this? Why am I wasting my time on this? Because I find them interesting. Do you know it says that these are still being manufactured, and they're in Wuhan, in China. They have 180 employees, and they produce Eleca guitars, Fender copies and stuff like that there. And there's a picture of their factory, if it is their factory, because you can't trust anything you're told on the internet. And it shows you pictures of the guitar. It only shows this type of guitar in 4 different colors, and it has a humbucker instead of the single coil pickup. But they're still in operation. They also sell electronics for guitars. They call one of them a California Sound module, you know. So they're still out there. They're still producing and making guitars. So I'm not going to waste an awful lot of time on this, unless something crops up that makes me think that I'm excited about this. But it's a little guitar. I don't like throwing it out. I gave my other child guitar. I paid 80 quid for it myself. But I found a young boy who's really keen on guitar, and he's in his 4th year of class on guitar. That means he's dedicated, if you know what I mean. He's not just sticking a guitar in his hand thinking he's going to be a rock and roll star. He's actually putting some effort in it. So I gave him it. It looked like a Gibson Les Paul, but half size, and I gave him an amplifier as well. And hopefully when he becomes another Gary Moore, he'll say, "Austin Lennon, give me my start." But guess what? He won't. Gary Moore was interviewed once, and he mentioned my name in it. Only a brief mention. He told me, but the interviewer didn't bring it up in the article that he mentioned it in. So, although I was mentioned in the LA Times whenever Gary died, I made a quote at the time about Gary because he was a unique individual, even apart from the guitar playing. And I told a little story about him, about his fingers and what he did whenever he came to my house to play. And they printed that, so I got into not the LA Times, some Los Angeles guitar magazine. I forget what it was. Infamy. They've all got an infamy. That's actually shining up quite nicely. That's just ordinary polish, by the way. It's the cheapest polish I could find in the largest quantity. And it does the job. Look how shiny that's coming up. As you see, it's not the greatest paint job, but it's still better than you think, you know. And now I'll touch it up. I'll do the back. I'm going to do the back as well now. And I just use polish on the back because it's not as dirty as the front. Come on. Thank you. Should be easy to doctor this one up to take away the little scratches and stuff like that there. Interesting thing about this is it has been played. You can tell by the way the guitar has been patinaed, if that's the right word, which it's not, but it's been played. It's got damage there. Or it's been thrown about the rooms, but it looks like it's been sitting in a shed for the last 20 years, and it's gone all rusty inside. So I think we'll get a sound out of that. We'll get it working, and we'll get it on the market, maybe in the auction, and see what happens. Somebody see a nice shiny guitar, I get these all polished up. I'll do the neck now. This is just a preliminary clean. Now this, I think it's maple, but it feels maple. It's not Mabel, it's maple. Yeah, that's terrible, but to fix that. Right, what do I do with it first? I think I try to get the head right. I don't think that head's going to just come off nice and easy. Okay, right, it does come off. Now, what do I want to use to take it off with? There's a scrapula. A scrapula. Oh, look at that, look. Oh, I'm impressed. So far I'm impressed. Oh, that's better. That's better than I thought it would be. I looked it up. Somebody wanted 90 quid for one of these. And I thought, I wouldn't give you 90 quid. I would ask 90 quid, but I wouldn't give you 90 quid. So, Eleca, I'm going to probably take off your name with a sandpaper brush. What do you see? Whatever. I might even round off the edges, because I do like, if it's going to be an Austin Lennon guitar, I might as well make it a bit different. So I'll use my sanding buffer to round off the edges and make it smaller. I looked up the number, millions of numbers. I don't know what it meant. It's coming off. Probably just a part number from Eleca. I don't care what year it is either. I think if I'm guessing about the year of this, I would say it's late 80s, maybe early 90s. It's amazing, isn't it? The early 90s is still 30 years ago. Bloody hell. You keep thinking 90s music is still relevant, but it's 30 years ago. Okay, right. Well, you're going to get sanded. And I'm going to use my sander on you. Get my sander on you, sander on you. Now, do I want to do this in the house? Because it gets sand dust everywhere. No, I'm going to do it later. I'll probably just run over it with a bit of sandpaper now, just to see what it looks like. By hand. Yeah, that's going to come up nicely, and then I'll round this all off the whole way. And let's look at this. Okay. Now that's coming off nicely. So it's going to be a scraped. I'm going to have to scrape the sandboard down. Let me just give the frets polish to see what they're like. Hard to believe, but that's good brass. A mixture of brass copper, but it's actually quite good. Eleca's, the website's still up and running for Eleca, and it's a tacky website. It's like it was built in the 90s or 80s, but if you get the impression that they're probably still going, because they cut costs so much, in Wuhan. This is a virus guitar. Irish guitar. You can't actually say the word, but you can talk about it by code words. Code words. What kind of fucking planet are we on where we have to use code words to talk about something? How sick is this planet got over the years? It got pretty sick, I tell you. It's a flat neck. There's no roundness to it. Purely flat. But look at that. Look, that'll come up nicely. I keep forgetting that because I've done so many of these guitars, I keep forgetting that people sometimes have never seen that done before. So I better just tell you that those of you who know it will be bored to tears with it. But what you do is you get a really sharp razor, you keep it perpendicular or parallel to it, and you only go up and down. And you can see I'm going up and down lightly. Maybe going a little bit faster than I should be, but I'm getting used to it, you see. If you go too fast, then you'll get judders in your paintwork and you'll get you can take them out by going slower, but it's best to go the speed you can control the blade at. If you go too fast, it'll go drrrr, and then you'll have a messy keyboard. I'm actually quite impressed how clean that coming up. And how easy it is coming up. You know what else I'm impressed about? Of course, every guitar impressed me. Look how nicely that's coming out. But it doesn't, maybe I should. It does cut the fingers off you there. I'm going to have to do something with that. So the frets are sticking up. Or they haven't been filed off properly, but I'll work on them. I was just about to tell you how impressed I was with it. But no, sorry. Not so impressed now. I've got rid of a few guitars. I now have the Gretsch. I have a Fender lookalike, which is going to be nicer than a Fender by the time I've finished. I'm making a video of it. I have a classical guitar and I have acoustic guitar. And I have a cigar box guitar and 2 ukuleles. I have other guitars, but I'm going to get rid of them, except that there's one big jumbo guitar that Ariana, which I'm working at when I get a chance to get it, because it's a big jumbo and it's a beautiful made guitar. It was part of probably this junk. I probably got it in an auction with this. I paid. Oh no, the Ariana. Yeah, the Ariana came with 4 other guitars, and I bought them all for 50 quid or something like that. But the other 3 guitars are absolute shit, and they're not worth a penny. So the Ariana's the only one that I would probably be any decent. Actually, 2 of the guitars, my memory's starting to kick in now. 2 of the guitars had to be completely scrapped. I think I did that on video too, to let you see. They had to be actually ripped to shreds and then broken up and put in a skip, because they were just so bad. Thought I'd never do that, but in that case I had to. I heard one person writing about this, that the action was so bad that they threw it out or they wouldn't play it again. That's a shame, because you can fix the action on a guitar quite easily if the neck's straight and the body's not sunken. But I suppose people want the guitars coming straight and playing them right away. It says on the brochure that the body is a species of mahogany. Now, a species of mahogany. I'd have to see where that species goes. Could be balsa wood. Could be a species of mahogany for all I know. The last one's the worst one because you can't go up and down on it. You can only go down on it. And let me just clean in there a bit. I don't go on Facebook Marketplace very often, but I did today when I saw some messages for me, and they're a month old. Somebody wanted to give me 2 guitars. One of them was an old Yamaha acoustic, a good one though, and the other one I didn't recognize. It looked like a Classico. But when I didn't respond to her, she put them in the skip. Left them out for recycling in the skip. How sad is that? If I had checked my posts. But then again, I've been distracted this last few weeks, maybe a couple of months, and I haven't had the chance to do what I really would like to do. But what is it you would really like to do in life? I'm going to be a published poet. One of my poems is getting published in a fairly famous, maybe you might not know it, maybe most people may not know it, but we had a fairly famous poet and raconteur and singer and songwriter in Northern Ireland, here in Northern Ireland, called Percy French. And he's the one that wrote The Mountains of Mourne, which Don McLean had a big hit with. Oh, Mary, this London's a beautiful sight. You know that one. And he's dead many years now. He used to go around Northern Ireland and to the whole of Ireland in a horse and cart with his wife, playing and singing in Dublin and Galway. And if you've never been to Ireland, you'll be surprised how big it is to get around. In a car, it takes you 2 hours to get to Dublin. Can you imagine what it did in a horse and cart to get to Dublin to play a gig? And on the same night, he'd be playing another gig down Docky, which is another 20 miles away. And he was a character. Percy French. If you look it up on Google, you'll see a website. I designed the website for Percy French. It's my one of my charity sites that I did for them. But they have a booklet where they publish poems, and one of my poems is called Something Train. It's because it's only 4 lines long. It's called, is it a sus train or a? No, it's got a funny little name. I'll put it down below it whenever I'm thinking about it. But I'm very pleased. I've had my stories published in magazines, and don't look for them because I didn't write under my name. I wrote under a female name because it was a children's story, and they tend to like females writing children's stories than big hairy men, because all men are pedophiles. Don't you know that? Have you not learnt that yet? As far as the world's concerned. But anyway, I'm just being bitter. I'm just being bitter because I don't like the way the world has turned. Right, let's give that another little polish. Ain't that look nicer? Ain't that looking nicer? Yeah? Give it another little polish to clean. There's a little bit of... I think I'll do that down the wall. And they're very nice thick frets. So I go down the wall and get that dirt off them. It'd be wonderful to see a really good guitarist playing something like that, see how he get on with it. I saw a guy the other night, I watched him on YouTube. He was playing along to one of the... It only showed you a picture of his guitar sitting on his knee. And it's a Brian May guitar. You know, the special guitar that Brian May has. But he has one like it, probably a replica. You can actually buy them, I think. Brian May guitars. And he played along to one of the big famous hits, which I can't remember now, of Queen's. and he played it note perfectly. He didn't sing, he just played it. And then I thought to myself, why? You know, if you were a a Queen tribute act, you could understand why somebody would want to learn note for note a perfect song. But it just seems to me to be a waste to sit. I don't know, is it just me? Maybe it's just me. But to sit and learn a song note for note, well, maybe it's good practice for you if you're going to join a band or something like that. But I remember I used to do it with the Beatles guitar songs because I used to be in a band that played a lot of Beatles songs. Rolling Stones, the Trogs. There was a reason for that, but just to sit at home and learn the thing, and I don't know. Maybe that's why I'm not a great guitarist, because I have to have a reason to play the guitar. Sitting in my front room playing a guitar for myself, not good enough reason. Even fixing guitars, I have to have a reason to fix them. It's not just a good enough reason to fix them, although it's almost a good enough reason, but you have to have a reason, and my reason is to try to help support animals. And so I make a little bit of money for the animals by doing this, but it also fills out my hobby, and it gives it multi-purpose rather than just, you know, doing it for yourself. I wouldn't do it for money, but I don't need to do it for money. I'm glad pleased to say. But I must admit, that's come up nicely. Has it come up all the way I wanted? Yes, it has. Well, just look at those frets. They're not polished with the finest thing yet, but they're very good. They're very good. I might even gloss that neck, because I'm wanting to gloss something. That'll have to be. I know what I'll do. I'll use a file on it. All right, there's a file there. You shouldn't do this, by the way. The wood. Somebody might be more fussy than me about the edge. I wanted it rounded off. Pretty good, pretty good. Right, okay. Now I'll go over it with a fret file. That's that file. I think I showed you before. Great file. Love it. And my customer bought me that. A client bought me that, which I thought was very nice of them to do. I wasn't expecting it. Now this is 1425, just to give a bit of polish to the frets. That feels good. That feels good. Don't it look good? Eh? Don't it look good? I'm very happy with that. Right, new clean cloth. And some more water. Yeah, I think I'm going to gloss this. Gives me a good opportunity to try the gloss paint that I have to see what it's like when I put it on thick. at the moment. I've only tried a few that were on very thin. It's actually not gloss paint. It's metallic lacquer to put on it because it's a little bit stronger. So I'm going to put it on there. I'm very pleased with that. Look at that there. It looks nice. Do I want to put the metallic lacquer on now? No, I'll let it dry. I'll sand that a little bit more at the top. But I am going to take it outside tomorrow and sand it. What's that there? Another crack. What's the joint in the head? I don't know what it is. Looks like it might be a little crack or something. It's not in the head anymore. Okay, I'm going to stop now and make myself something to eat. Yummy, yummy, yummy. I like it. Maybe another run over with 2000 sandpaper. Laters, boys and girls. You know, it's still the same day. And I don't want to sand the head until... Actually, the head's too big for that, isn't it? I'm going to bring that head quite a bit down. But anyway, I don't want to sit and do nothing tonight. So I'm going to gloss this neck with this metal lacquer. Right, okay. And I'll come back to that in 20 minutes and put another coat on it. I'm just cleaning the brush now. There's a little bit of acetone on the bottom of this, so that'll just, the smells. Give it 20 minutes and then I'll do it again. One thing I have to do is just pick it up and do that. Let's see if any runs going down the side. There were some, you can see little drips there. Okay. Okay, later. Well, the baby is taking shape. You can see the body's on. That's all nice and clean. One of the screws is missing, but we'll figure that out. And that's back on again. I haven't done the wiring yet. But you'll see that I've reduced the size of the head down. I'll try to find a decent picture of the head before and after, let you see. But it's all rounded now, and I think it just looks better rounded. Even the fenders, I would do that on a fender or something like that because it just feels better and looks better rounded. The gloss on the fretboard, it's okay, but it does need a spray rather than a paintbrush. But I probably used the wrong paintbrush. But what I'm going to do now is just going to oil this because I sanded it down. I sanded it down rough and I sanded it down less rough and I sanded it down less rougher again. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to use, if I can get this bloody thing open. Actually, you know what I'm going to use? I'm going to use High Build Tech Finishing Oil. That's from Crimson Guitars. I'm going to use that. I was going to use linseed oil, but I changed my mind because this leaves the guitar, if I can get it open. It's very hard to open sometimes. It leaves the guitar with a nice, there we go, shine. If you put several coats on it, it'll leave a nice shine on it. But you have to put several coats on it, leave it, several coats on it, leave it, several coats on it, leave it, etc., etc., etc. This is very dirty, isn't it? Right, okay, let's get on with it. The problem with putting it on right away is that it's not dry yet, so you're actually just taking off the other stuff. So be patient, Austin, and just do it. Or just let it sit. All right, later. Nice and woody, like nice wood effect on it. And I might put my name on it or something on it. We'll see. We'll see. Wonder if I might even just put a silver dollar in there or something like that. Anyway, back again later when I put it. Okay, let's stick some strings on this. The head's almost finished. There's just a little bit more to do it. And when we're getting to the end, I'll give you a good close-up of everything. Let you see what it's like. But let's just stick the strings on now. And this will be sped up. Because there's nothing more boring. Nothing more boring than watching strings being put on a guitar. That noise you hear is my oil tank, my gas tank's arriving because I ran out of gas. Thank you, Mr. Gas Tank Man. So I'm going to press the button and I'm going to come back and tune this, okay? Right, that was painless until you have to go to pay for it. 2 big 47-litre tanks of propane gas to heat this place because I'm not connected to the mains gas pipes. So I have to heat it with tanks. It's not the worst in the world to do, but and I was quite surprised. I didn't realize why I had money in the bank, but I got a check from the government for £500. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm very pleased that I got it. And I think that it's fine that maybe the odd pensioner gets it. I'm a pensioner, by the way. So, got the volume down low. Oh, and it's hitting the pickup. So let me bring the pickups down. Am I detecting something here that I don't hear? I'm not that worried. Going to have to adjust the height just a bit. Maybe have to take the neck off and put a little shim in just to get it to play. Tell you what I'll do, I'll tune it up now, and it's going to be sped up as well, the tuning. I say the little tuners, but I mean the little pegs. You know what I mean, don't you? Right, okay. Now that I'm looking at this, that neck's going to have a little shim in it. So, and I'm going to have to bring the nut down a little bit. So that's a bit more work, but there we go. For another day. Well, the switch didn't work out, because even cleaning it, it's still cut off, so I'm going to replace that. I'm going to put a little shim onto the neck, and I'm going to lower the nut. None of this should be earth-shattering or desperately challenging, but let's just get on with it and see how we get along. I think I'll just take you out. I suppose I should have tested these things before I take them off, yeah, or put them on, but it's very hard to find. Oh, to switch on the soldering iron to get it to work. It's very hard to find a way to test them without having a guitar in front of you, so I might just do that. Okay, there we go. That is this little guitar, almost finished. Almost, I say. It's turned out really nice. It looks really good. I put the red knob on because it was one spare knob that I had, and it just threw it up enough lovely. Now, I've done the neck, as you see, and I put that on the head, right? Because it's my little guitar. But as you can see, it's still got the transfer. So I'm going to spray the head, but I haven't done so yet because of the problem that this little guitar has. So what I'm going to show you is that it looks very nice, and it plays nice, and it stays in tune nice. If I was doing anything to this guitar, I would change the tuners, even though they're working fine. And I'll show you why when I'm playing the demo. And it sounds really nice. No buzzing, no noise, anything, and you can do anything you want with it. But there is a problem with this guitar, and I'm going to ask you what you would do with it. Alright? So I'll get this set up for a little play. Right, here's the guitar in tune now. And here's the problem. Sounds okay, doesn't it? But you press the slightest bit harder on the strings. So the frets, if you press hard on the frets, they go out of tune very quickly. Hear the difference? Do it with one note. Now I know that there's a cure for that. At the moment, if you're really gentle, but if you're harder, so that's not good. Every guitar has this to some degree. Now, the only thing I can think of doing is bringing the frets way down till they're almost non-existent. But I don't want to do that. So has anybody got any cures out there for this? Also, look at the intonators, where they are to get the guitar intonated. I think it must be the short neck is the problem, you know. That's my playing, does that. There's a buzz there. That one's a little bit low. Anyway, there's the problem. would you do to that guitar? I like it. I actually quite like it. I'm actually very, very fond of it. But I got a feeling that I'm going to have to do something drastic to the frets. The frets are quite high, but should that be the case? You have to learn a whole new way of playing guitar. Okay, you come back to me with ideas. I'm going to put this to the side, and I am going to spray the neck semi-sheen to get rid of that there. That was just for fun. I actually put the name of Eleca guitar on the top because I don't want people thinking this is something it's not. So there you go. It's going on the shelf until I find a cure for it. Ciao, ciao, bye. I love it. I love it. Just need to find a cure. It has the bloody typical black problem where you touch it and you get fingerprints on it, but that's normal. All right. Given the fact that it was free and it was covered in gloss paint, I think it's looking pretty good. All right. Bye-bye now. Bye, 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 bye.